Welcome. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Accelerate to Profits with Virtual Events. I'm Justina Nielsen, and I'll be your host today. And today I have a very special guest, Michelle Pontvert. And I probably said it wrong, so please say it right for us. Welcome. And I invited Michelle today. She talked about websites that convert and how important customer journey is in the website. So, hi, Michelle. Tell us exactly how you say your last name.
Hi, yes, I am Michelle Pontvert, if you want to sound French about it, but Pontvert works just fine too. And I am a Squarespace web designer, absolutely obsessed with user experience and customer journey. So this is right up my alley.
Oh my gosh, yes. So the first question is first, what is a customer journey? And specifically, how does it relate to like when someone goes to a website for an event or virtual event or a summit?
So customer journey, it's not that sort of tricky a term. It's the journey you take your customer on through, in our case, the website. And that really just means taking someone from being a complete stranger all the way through to someone who has taken whatever action you want them to take on that website.
Mm.
And we craft that journey to help encourage the right people to keep clicking, to keep moving through the website to whatever that end goal is at mind. And that is the work we do when crafting a customer journey.
Okay. So yeah, so in the case of a virtual event, we have a virtual event we want someone to attend. So normally the customer journey starts with some kind of invitation. And then that leads them to a website with an opt-in page, right? And that's when they sign
Mhm.
up for the event. So where do you start, I guess, with a customer journey? Do you start with by asking what is the goal? Like what is the action that we want them to take in a customer journey? Or when you talk about customer journey, what is the first things we need to consider?
Yeah, so your customer journey will most likely expand beyond the website at the beginning and at the
Mm,
end of that journey, meaning getting people to the website. And then once you've got them to take that
true.
action, what do you do next? But I think it's easiest to start crafting with that conversion goal you have in mind. So for an event, that might be getting people to opt in, might be even to get people to upgrade to a VIP pass or a VIP ticket. Those would probably be the sort of goals that you have in mind, and that would be the event that we're going to base everything back on. We'll kind of backtrack from there to craft the rest of the journey of the website.
Wow. So how did you even start thinking of customer journeys? I don't think it's something they teach in college necessarily. Maybe they do part of marketing classes, but like what do you do for a living and how does that relate to what you create for who you help?
Yeah, so I'm a Squarespace designer. That is my business. And I started in my sort of website journey
Mm,
uh, in user experience design. And that's really taking the users, the humans operating websites, and really focusing in on creating a seamless and easy and enjoyable experience throughout those online spaces. And a lot of that work really goes into what we call user flows, which is essentially customer journeys. But I take that user focus and also pair it with a lot of marketing knowledge and experience. And
mm.
that's where that sort of meeting between just humans operating technology and a marketing goal, a business strategy, a business goal. And that's sort of the filter I take for creating these customer journeys.
Yeah, this makes sense. User experience. So user experience, I love that too. I mean, it kind of relates to customer journey, but
Hmm.
in a website design, user experience is how the user experiences the website,
Hmm.
right? It's not just what it looks like, but how they experience that. And I love that. Very
Hmm.
important in website design as well. So when I'm talking about in a website user experience, how do we measure the goal, right? So we talked about what
Mm.
is the goal, and in the virtual event, the goal is for someone to come in and sign up, right? So that's
Yeah.
considered a goal
Hmm.
or a measurement or a metric that we measure it with.
Yeah, so for something like that, then obviously our opt-in rate. So we can look at the traffic you're getting to that page or even to your website in general, how many people we're getting from that website in general through to the page with the opt-in form. Then we can look at those opt-in rates and really just do a quick little bit of simple maths to figure out your conversion rate of people actually getting to the page and signing up. And
Yeah.
that's a really good metric for us to measure because if we're getting absolutely thousands, millions of people on a page and getting really, really low conversion rates, there's probably some things we can do to optimize the journey on the actual page itself. All of those, you know, clues and cues that you can give people on the website itself that encourage the right people to sign up. And that's really that sort of fine dance between art and science that is web
Right.
design. That's what, yeah.
Yes. Do you so for your clients, what is I guess what is a good conversion rate, or is there a good conversion rate? Does it depend? Is
Mm.
there a range?
It completely depends, and it depends so much because every audience is different.
That's true.
And if you're sending a completely cold audience from, say, Facebook ads who know nothing about your business, know nothing about this topic, to a sign up page, you're going to have incredibly different results than a really warm audience, say, from your email list,
That's
who've
true.
been super, super well nurtured, heading to a page to sign up for something they've already been warmed up to.
Hmm.
So it's hard to put a specific figure on it, but if you're sort of seeing your usual conversion rates for things like purchases, opt-in, if you have tripwire offers, if you're really far off of that, there's definitely a big flag to be waved.
Yeah. So you said something. I want to make sure that we know what it is. What is a tripwire
Mm.
offer?
Oh, a tripwire offer is just a offer that you present for a limited time when someone has signed up for your free thing, your lead magnet, your opt-in, whatever you want to call it. And you can have an offer just pop up that's available for a short amount of time. We call it a tripwire because it's triggered when people like go over the tripwire of signing up for that free thing. So they're a really nice sort of piece of the funnel puzzle you might be building out for your event to earn a little bit of income when you're getting people to sign up.
I see. So, for example, someone signs up for something free that's maybe,
Mhm,
I don't know, maybe it was like, hey, how to do a quick makeup, for
mhm,
example. But then they might have an offer that's related to their need, to their lead magnet, that's like the next level offer. It's like, hey, for this much more or whatever, you can get a complete, I don't know, ebook or
mhm.
samples or whatever, something related sent to you. I love that.
Exactly. And that can be part of your customer journey as well. If you're anticipating that people are coming into that lead magnet page really with a burning problem, offering them a small offer at a really good discount could be a great way to nurture and continue to really engage those people. So it can be a really nice piece to sort of insert into your customer journey depending on who you're serving and what you're selling.
Hmm. So interesting in a virtual event world, we do more than just we hope more than just for the opt-in. Well, I guess it depends on what kind of event we want, but
Hmm.
generally this is a way to meet the ideal clients, for the clients to meet you, right? And then we either nurture them later to become clients in a program or whatever, or
Hmm.
we try to sell them at that moment for an upgrade, right? There's like a VIP
Hmm.
offer, an upgrade, and things like that. So there's, I don't know if they call them tripwires, but there's plenty of other things, right? That we hope that some of these customers will go on a journey
Hmm.
and continue. So what are the like some of the ways to make the journey easier, better on clients? From what you've seen, what are some of the common things that maybe we're not doing right, but we could be doing better?
Yeah, I think first off, starting with an actual strategy, start with a plan of what you're actually hoping to accomplish, hoping to achieve with the website, with those individual pages. What is the goal of that page? And then making sure that you're actually crafting all of this content for the person who's going to be consuming it,
I see.
not for you as a business owner. And it can get really easy to get tripped up, but just writing the copy, the text on the page, putting together the information in an order that makes sense for the person you're leading through this journey makes an absolutely enormous impact on how well that person is actually going to engage with your content. So, how you structure all of this just needs to have the psychology of that ideal person you're trying to get through the journey in mind every step of the
Mm.
way.
Okay, so you recommend before even building a website, kind of sitting down and mapping it out.
Mhm. Mapping it out, and really, I would encourage starting with some, good old-fashioned business strategy, like, who are your clients? What is your business goal?
Yes.
Doing a little bit of market research, like, it's always good to go back to those really foundational basics, and
Mm,
then the solving problem of what is on the website flows from those foundational pieces. So once you
yes.
know who this is for, what you're selling them, what problem they're trying to solve, and why, you can then figure out what pages you need, what journey is going to happen, what you want to sell them at different points, at different price points, how much nurturing they're going to need or not. And all of those decisions become much, much clearer when you have a really good picture of who this is for. And you're framing each of those questions of how do you serve that person best at that stage. Because someone may come into your world and be completely unaware of what it is you have to sell, maybe even that your type of solution even exists out there in the world.
Mm,
So you may have to educate those people, if that's your audience and your ideal client. You may have to actually educate them quite a lot before they're ready for some of your higher ticket offers. But perhaps another person might have a very well informed, really, ready to buy your specific offer kind of audience, and they'll
mhm.
have an incredibly different customer journey because their people are much further along in that sort of
Yes.
buying process.
So I think that's what's been tripping me up, to be honest. I'm glad you said exactly because I know my ideal client, but they're not always coming to my website at the same stage, right?
Mhm.
Some could be my ideal clients if I educate them enough. Hey, it
Yeah.
is you. Yep. It was you. I got you. I know what you're doing. And here's the thing that I have that will get
Mhm.
you there. Even though you don't know that yet. Here, let me show you how. And
Yeah.
there's some people who already know, right? To the top of the funnel, and some people already know, and they're like, okay, I've heard about this thing. I've heard you talk for a year now. I think I'm in. Like this is it. And some people are like, yeah, I hear you, but I'm gonna think about it, right? Maybe that's not the right time.
Mhm.
I just want to stay on your list, and maybe one day I'll jump in, right? So how
Yeah.
do we serve all three with one website though, right? Because I only have one website, and
Mhm.
maybe I could divide them up. Tell me, but how do I make a customer journey on the same website work for all three stages?
That's a fantastic question and something I see trip up tons of people, so don't feel
Yes.
bad. Really, the idea of should you need another website, I'll handle that up front because this does trip people up really a lot. If it's solving the same problem for the same people, it's the same website. If
It
you're
is.
starting to solve a different problem because those people are just so far from being ready for something that you're selling, then it may actually be a different website. But as long as it's the same problem in essence for the
Mhm.
same type of people, then you're on the same website. So we start there. And then really helping people make those decisions themselves, helping people self-select how how quick they want to work through your customer journey, how ready they are is always a great way to sort of move them forward. So that could be as simple as your navigation actually having options for people to get into the sales page right away.
I
Maybe
see.
they don't have to get into an email list, don't have to get through a big funnel to buy your high ticket thing if you have people really ready for that in your audience. You may also have some more educational materials or free offers, very low ticket offers available if
Mhm.
you're finding you have people at that earlier stage who need a bit more education and
I
nurturing.
see.
So basically providing resources and things on your website that can answer those different questions, whether they're free or paid or maybe both, could be a really great way to kind of meet people where they're at in that journey and continue to nurture them along until they are, if they are going to be ready for that higher ticket, sort of bigger offer that you have.
I love that. Yes. So you explained it really well. I'm hearing, first of all, here a strategy. Hope everyone here knows. I said the same thing, right? And people are like, come to me, I want to have an event. Great. For whom? Who's your ideal client? Like let's start with that. And I understand, especially for people who may be starting out, they don't know
Mhm,
exactly who the client is. And not everyone is starting out, but maybe you're starting a new program. Maybe you're starting a
mhm,
new venture. Maybe you have a new twist from something else to now.
mhm.
So we're just take the best guess, right? Meaning take the best educated guess. We'll figure out, okay,
Yeah,
I think this is who the person is. I think this is what the problems are. And then you can just test against it, right? Is it working? Am I
exactly.
right? If it's not, tweak it. Keep tweaking it.
Mhm,
You don't have to have all the answers, but start with something, right?
exactly, and your website is never done. This is something that I also
Thank
see trips
you.
people a lot. It is not done, it is a work in progress because your business is a work in progress. You will continually adapt your messaging, your offers, your free content, and your website should and needs to grow with your business. So do
Yeah,
not worry if it's changing on the regular. That is normal, that's actually a good
yeah,
sign. So
yeah.
don't worry.
Yeah, and I think it's not that it's changing completely, you're rebranding and reinventing
Mhm,
yourself all the time because that's a hard restart to reinvent, but you're always
yeah.
tweaking and making it better, right? So don't
Mhm.
change to be a different person every month. That no one
No.
recognize, right? Or don't be a health coach today and a life coach tomorrow and something else coach the next month because that's different. But if you're a health coach for these kind of people, but then you find out, hey, I'm in this, let's say, mom club, and all the late moms like think that this is the
Mhm.
bomb. I can also serve them, and now you get to include their pain points and how you're helping them on your website, right?
Exactly, and that can even be as small as just, like, a blog post that gives you a
Oh,
touch point, something to bring people to who you're interested in exploring that niche a bit further, those people a bit further. It doesn't have to be a full rewrite, a full, head to toe makeover. You can start small with, one offer, one landing page, one freebie, one blog post, and just put it out into the world and see what real humans think. Because ultimately, this is just a tool. Your website is just a tool to connect with other humans. So you do need that human feedback of
Yeah.
what's working and what's resonating.
Yes, you totally do. So what if, is there a way to find out if my customer journey is working without having to test it on clients? Do you know what I mean? So is there an
Ooh.
audit or something like?
Yeah, I mean, I offer audits, and even then I will say there is no like surefire way to do this without other humans because
Yes.
it's ultimately for them. But that being said, there are a lot of best practices in web design and a lot of sort of standard ways we construct websites that are based off of things like accessibility for people with different disabilities or abilities. There's some SEO, search engine optimization, sort of foundational things that you want to have in place if you're using organic search to get people on your site. There's sort of user experience standards that we use that are commonly sort of tested and basically accepted as the standard way we want websites to operate. That's what people expect. And that is really, really useful to have audited because all of that stuff, I mean, it's taken me years to learn all of it, but all of that stuff,
Mm.
even if it's subtle, does make a cumulative really big difference because you're basically putting a website together that is intuitive and easy for people to use.
Yes.
And the less they have to think about operating the website, the more brain space they have to actually think about your offer.
Offer,
That
right?
is what we want.
Right. Yeah, right. Broken links and broken buttons. They're all just like things in a way what
Hmm.
you really want the client to do, which is sign for this thing up so you can help them with your gift.
Yeah. And it can be such small things like the contrast between a color and a background. It can be things like some of your SEO settings that maybe you don't know how to do, but can make
Yeah,
such a foundational difference in humans finding your content, finding your website, or interacting with it. Say
interacting.
on a screen reader when you have full visual abilities, you may not ever notice that stuff if you're not sort of trained to look for it. So things like audits are a hugely valuable lesson if you are noticing that you're not getting the conversions that you want or that you're expecting from your website. That's a really, really great place to start.
Yes. So you offer audits, and
Mhm,
I think audits are a really good way and a really like a smart way because think about it this way. Sometimes you don't even know when people are dropping off from your website, right?
mhm.
You just see that there's a bounce rate or there's
Yeah,
whatever they leave, and you might be just sitting there and no one's gonna like tell you, hey, that link is not working, so I left. You
yeah,
just see them leave. So it's so good to have an audit or someone to do this. So I do this as well for virtual event and summit clients only.
mm,
I test that journey, and there's been so many times where yes, something that didn't work, but it can be really vital, like them not getting the link to join you at the
mhm.
virtual event, right? So you build this virtual event and nobody can come if they never get the link, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and it's costly because again, we're doing this for a
Mhm.
reason. It's
Yeah,
the prices we pay, especially the client not getting might be frustrated because hey, I really wanted to be at this event, now I can't.
mhm.
Now they have a negative impression because something didn't work. They didn't get what they
Yeah,
wanted or they were promised. So there's a loss of trust.
mhm. Especially if they've paid for something too,
Yeah.
there's a really big loss of trust there.
Yeah, for
Mm.
sure. Yes. But even if they didn't, I mean, I felt that too. I'm like, I wanted to sign up. Where's the link?
Mm.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm busy. And also the prices, people pay when is loss of potential clients, right? Because again,
Mhm.
we're not just thinking as this event or summit like people coming and being educated. Some of these people might actually want the offer, the upgrade, or work
Yeah.
with you. They could have become a potentially lifelong client,
Mhm.
but this link and the sign up, right, cost you losing them. Love the
Exactly.
idea. I love the idea of an audit of someone that's not you, because sometimes I know with my own website, I'm so close to it.
It's hard. Yep.
It's harder for me to test my own website versus somebody else's because I'm brand new. I can more put myself in the shoes of a customer, right? I know
Mhm.
nothing about you and I'm just going through your journey and let me see what stops you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Um, how do you, I know you work with Squarespace. How do
Mhm.
I look at my stats for my customer journey of that? Does Squarespace give you some conversion stage, or do you offer other
Yeah.
metrics to measure that?
So there's analytics that you can access through Squarespace. You can also use Google Analytics. I personally have actually been exploring some third-party analytic platforms because of the
Good.
EU being fun with Google recently. But there's lots of different options, and it's really about learning which numbers to pay attention to and which not to bother with, because it can get very overwhelming. So if you are starting to look at your statistics, really try and just filter out what you actually coming into the analytics dashboard to look for and ignore the rest. Because I know I personally fall down that rabbit hole all the time. So if you're
Yes.
looking for your page views and your bounce rate, just look at that and move on. Because it can get a little bit overwhelming. And I know that's something people often complain lovingly to me about websites, is that it can just feel like tech jargon and too many numbers. So if you're looking to, look at your conversion rate, look at those key pages in your customer journey, how many people you're getting onto them, if there's a click through to another page, or if they're bouncing and leaving, and then take those numbers, get away from the analytics dashboard, and actually look at those in sort of hard light. Like, okay, how are those numbers stacking up with what I'm expecting, with industry standards, depending on what you're actually doing. Obviously, a high ticket page with a book a call is going to have a very different conversion rate than a freebie opt-in, so you can have a look at those sort of standards in your specific industry too.
I see. Okay, good. Yeah, that's a good point. A free lead magnet might have a higher conversion rate, right? Because there's
Yeah.
less barrier to getting it because it's free versus a call, a paid call, whatever, even a free call. So have to get on the phone with someone, right? it's
Yeah,
it's not as easy
exactly.
as download.
Mm-hmm.
Might have a different conversion rate. Yeah, and I heard
Mm-hmm.
similar thing about virtual events. I mean, I heard like one program says 50% or higher conversion rate on your front page. I'm like, wow, that's really high. But yeah, I mean,
That's very high.
but if it's a free event, I'm like, okay, 20 to 30% I heard is like a pretty good rate for a free virtual event when you're signing up.
Mm-hmm.
And that on the main page of like some of the virtual event, normally it's pretty simple. We have an opt-in, we have a video, we have a banner that says what this event is about. Sometimes
Yep.
speakers are not. Is there something on here that we can screw up that you can like warn us about? Because I know I was thinking about that. Sometimes I feel like pages load really slow because people
Mm-hmm.
want to optimize their images and videos. And I'm like
Mm-hmm.
sitting here for 5 minutes while it's loading. I'm like, okay, I just wanted to sign up, but now, my kid wants my attention and I might walk away. Or I just
Well,
get
that's a very good point. Definitely making sure your site speed is as fast as you can make it without compromising the actual content. So
Mhm.
optimizing your images, definitely making sure your video is embedded properly. You're not having it play automatically. You have the sound off by default. Those are just like accessibility standards and actually the law in many places. So just so that's to be mindful of. I think the other big thing that gets missed, and I see this a lot as someone who attends and participates in a lot of summits, the mobile pages are not paid attention to. People build these sites on
True.
desktop and they never look at it on an actual phone. And it can be a very frustrating experience if you're getting what we call like glide, when the page sort of wiggles around when you're trying to scroll. It is just a horrible user experience. So if you are doing anything, I would say it's compress your images, check your video settings, and then check the mobile view, please, because
Yeah.
you're going to get at least 50% these days more of your users actually on the mobile view of your website, not the desktop. So you'll lose a huge percentage of people just by not optimizing that one view.
I'm so glad you said that. Yeah. If we would have said that, there would have been such a miss because, yeah, so many people design on desktop, right? Because you're really hard to design a website on your phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
You tend to design it on a web desktop. But like you said, most people these days, majority do view this consume content on their phones.
Mm-hmm.
Majority of websites do, if you look around, if you're doing it yourself, if not, ask whoever's doing it for you, have a view for a desktop and
Yeah.
a mobile and a tablet built into the builder so you can preview it. I don't quite completely trust it because I know that
Yeah.
my phone is a different screen than my daughter's phone. So I normally do, as a builder, I normally test it on several screens anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Some also are better than others because there could be a website that's mobile sized or mobile optimized, right? So
Yeah.
optimized means it knows what size your screen is, right? Versus like iPhone
Yeah.
Max versus the smaller, and it can optimize the boxes for the screen, and some are just mobile size, which means they're just made vertical. But
Exactly. And that's getting a little onto the techie side, but you
yes,
can basically, it's responsive design when, regardless of the container that the site is in, whether it's a teeny tiny phone or a massive tablet or a really big desktop, it will adapt. So if you're looking for a builder, look for responsive mobile design. That's like the term you're
that's
looking
the
for.
term.
That's
Yes.
the easiest way to make sure you're kind of covered, but you do always want to check that your mobile view looks good, has everything working. Definitely check that the video isn't playing automatically, because that will drive people nuts. But that's usually sort of the best cheat. If you're looking for a platform, check for mobile responsive views.
I'm so glad you said that again. We're like the same wavelength, because I actually had some clients who came from a program that I think was written 2018 that
Mm.
were like, my video must be an autoplay, and it must be sound. I'm like, no, we don't do that anymore. We used to
Nope.
do that. People got really annoyed by our phones blasting something when we're like in the middle of an important meeting. No, like even if a website allows you to embed a video that autoplays with sound,
Don't do it.
it's the fastest way for me to go, oh, run, quick. And even if I was interested, it's just not, yeah, I agree.
Not a good user experience, and Google will penalize it if you're sort of at all worried about your search optimization. So there's sort of like another incentive to help encourage you
Yes,
to please
Google, yes,
don't do autoplay.
yes, Google will do that. And I mean, I know some people start doing an autoplay, but on mute with text or whatever captions.
Captions.
And I
Yeah.
guess it's better. It's not as intrusive,
It's
but it's not
better.
really user friendly. Like, let me decide when I want to play it, right? Like, when I'm ready to play it, so it feels just a little bit pushy. What do you feel about pop-ups? Because I kind of feel the same
Yeah.
way as that. I mean, I know they're good. I know they work. I've seen the stats.
Mm.
Sometimes they work, but they really annoy me too as an end user.
I think they can work. I've definitely gone back and forth on my feelings around pop-ups, and I think the big thing that concerns me is when they're, again, not user-friendly. If they hop onto your screen as soon as you've got onto the website, you don't actually have a chance to look at the site,
Yes,
check you're in the right place first. Perhaps you just want to sign up quickly. They're actually getting in the way of you taking the action. So that is not helping you as a business owner.
I
So they're
see.
not serving you well.
Mhm.
If they occur, once you've scrolled a certain percentage of the page, they're very, unobtrusive in the sense that they have a really easy to, cross out, X out button, and you can get people sort of out of them quickly. I don't mind them, and I think they actually can do very well for your user experience when offering something helpful that is literally a nudge, not a push. You don't want to be shoving people at all stages of your journey into one thing. It
Yeah.
should be just the gentle nudge of whatever it is that this page was already nudging them towards. So
Mm,
if you can think of it that way, as just like an extra reminder of like, hey, if you're ready, here's the next step. Here's a very easy to close out next step in
yes.
the form of a pop-up. I think they work very well in that way.
That is a great. I love that. That you explained it so well. So, if someone wanted to learn more from you, because you're so full of knowledge on all the website conversions, I know you have a gift for our audience. Please tell us
Mhm.
what it is.
Yeah, so I have a super bite-sized training at 16 minutes. I have a lot of moms in my audience. I really believe in making things nice and quick. It's a free training around creating websites that convert. And I go over the 5 sort of key elements that you need to have on your site to encourage those conversions. And they're really, really high level, but they're super critical to have. So definitely worth having a look at if you are thinking around your conversion rates and optimizing your site.
Yes, I'm gonna go sign up for that right now. I need to, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And if someone wanted to decide, maybe they have Squarespace, maybe they want to work with you, or just wanted to optimize the customer journey, what would be the first step that you'd want them to take? Do you have a podcast or more like educational resources or somewhere where they can
Mm.
learn more?
I mean, I'm a web designer, so head to my website. I have a bunch of free and paid resources there. I have a shop full of DIY resources, a blog full of stuff. And if you would like to work together, my sort of starting package is an audit, as you beautifully sort of mentioned earlier. And I think that's a great place to start if you already have an existing site. So that is kind of my first port of call if you're looking to work on optimizing.
Yes, I love that. Yes, I'm looking at I looked at your like free DIY resources. That was amazing library. And I know you have some micro courses and things that you
Mhm.
can learn from that too. So that's beautiful. I really appreciate you teaching us a lot of good things today, and hopefully the end users will thank you too, right? Because hopefully we'll have better journeys for our virtual events and website end users. Any final words, something to remember, something to guide us through before we finish today?
Yeah, I think just that sort of nugget around keeping in mind that person this website, this page, this offer is for in every step of the way, and to maybe think a little bit beyond your own experience of the world. When I'm talking around things like accessibility, just having a thought for people with visual impairment, hearing impairment, potentially using a mobile screen reader or just a different size screen or different platform than yourself can make a huge difference to their experience when they would otherwise be 100% your ideal client. You may lose those people if you don't consider them. So think of ideal clients, but really do think beyond just demographics and think about like who they are as people as well.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Michelle
You're welcome.
Pontvert. Thank you for joining us today. Woo! Thanks, everyone.